Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. If you're new here, please tap subscribe. The entire channel here is about weight loss stories to help those on a health journey. So if you're considering trying to lose some weight healthily, definitely tap subscribe as a way to kind of commit yourself to doing this, and I would really appreciate it. Relationships feel empty and people treat me different after weight loss. I hope this fits here. I think it does, as it's directly related to my losing weight, and I think others may experience it as well. If I'm mistaken, my apologies. I lost a fair bit of weight in my recent years, 80 pounds or so, and I'm a 20-year-old man. In context, I went from what other people would probably call a 3 or 4 to maybe a 7. I don't know, girls ask me out. I'm 6'3" and slightly muscular, even though I hold on some weight on my face. Anyways, all of my relationships, romantic and friendships, especially with women, are completely different now. Even men treat me different. I get picked for group projects, people ask me for advice, and I'm just included in the rest of the world when I wasn't before. Everything just feels super shallow. I went on Tinder and got like 20 times my matches from when I first tried, and it made me feel disgusted. It's like my entire value as a person was down to my weight, or my weight stopped people from seeing anything in value from me before. I even went on a date with an older friend from a little after high school, and she made a comment, "You're completely different. It's so good." I haven't changed since then. I just lost weight. It's still me. It sucks realizing that everyone who will be with you wouldn't give you the time of day before, and would return to not giving the time of day if you gained it back. And dating feels so incredibly shallow. Before I lost the weight, I blamed myself for being unsuccessful, and after losing the weight, I just see the worst in everyone. I was wondering if anyone else had experience similar to mine, and how did you deal with it? I'm gonna keep this short because I have to run to work. I understand where you are coming from. I lost 70 pounds. I was resentful that people treated me differently when I was the same person, but here's the thing, I wasn't the same person. I was happier and more positive because I was getting physical activity and adequate sleep every day. I was happier because I was taking control of my life. I was happier with myself because I liked what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I was more fun to be around because I had new interesting hobbies like cycling and hiking. I wasn't so angry because I didn't hate myself. It may still be you, flesh case for a soul, but I doubt you're the same person you were before. We were just talking about this in the Century Club. A lot of it is in your head and can be addressed with the aid of mental health support. The Tinder experience, though, is amplified in that the only way potential matches see you is through the picture you post and the data they can filter you on. When I was using online dating, my matches dried up overnight when my age rolled from 50 to 51. Still exactly the same me, same pictures, but different data I am filtered on. Nothing to do with my value as a human being or actual desirability as a potential sexual or romantic partner. Online dating is a really poor measuring stick for value as a human. As fat people, we tend to act in ways that help render us invisible. We wear our potato sacks of shame, we don't want people to look at us, and we don't want to be in the group pictures, etc. With weight loss comes a certain amount of self-confidence. This is picked up on by other people, and they react in kind by engaging more with you. Others treat you better because you yourself are treating yourself better and making yourself more visible. I struggled a lot with this too, and I still don't treat people different with different weights. I probably lean to being slightly nicer if the person is bigger. But when I do see someone who is significantly overweight and I see them running out of breath, or a friend I know who hides away and doesn't do certain things because of his weight and body, I feel awful. And I do think to myself, I will never let myself get to that point again. Because it's true, in essence, I didn't change. I still have the same core values, but I am less shy, less worried about what people will think of my body. I worry less about how I look when working out or playing sports. For example, I wouldn't get up and play beach volley or regular volleyball because I was afraid everybody would laugh at the fat girl. I didn't wear heels, makeup, or nice clothes, or get my ears pierced because I felt that people would just think I was putting makeup on a pig, I guess. None of those thoughts I wish anybody else to have, and I don't think those things either. But I do have to admit that I am a happier and healthier person who honestly puts effort into myself, which I didn't do before. I was kind, helpful, smart, even into sports, but the last person on my list in consideration was me. And now that has changed, and I don't know if this results in people liking me better or me just believing in people more. Losing a lot of weight requires change in habits, change in mental state. So yes, you changed, but your chapter has mostly stayed the same. It's like you improved one aspect that you probably weren't that successful in, such as planning or self-control, or whatever else contributed to being bigger. But you still have all those other great characteristics you had before, but people already knew these. This is just my take. A lot of people say it's your attitude that changed, but let me tell you something. I have always had resting B-face. As a fat person, I was always pretty much invisible. People at doors shut right in front of me, avoid eye contact, etc. A while back, I lost a considerable amount of weight. Guess what stayed the same though? My resting B-face. And people treated me way different. I get strangers smile at me and say, "Smile, it's not so bad," so often that it got annoying. Doors held open for me even though I'm 10 feet back. Random people would talk to me. Since then, I have gained weight back, and I'm back to being invisible. But I would say, try to not let this impact your relationships. I think it's just human nature, and I think most people don't consciously realize they are doing this. And now, I may get downvoted for this, but here I go. I would like to say that I went through the same thing. I had comments from my male friends. "Man, you got hot." I'm now dating a 10 who I still believe wouldn't have gone after me so hard if I looked like what I did before, despite what he tells me because he's a sweetheart. Getting told randomly at a distant family's baby shower about how I'm gorgeous and they just wanted to let me know. Like what? This happens? Etc. etc. However, I think people get disappointed when they lose weight because they become closer to society's beauty standards. Let's break this down. Why am I mad that people didn't lie to me and say I'm attractive to them when I wasn't? Why am I mad that people weren't physically attracted to me before and they can't help it? And people are attracted to what they're attracted to. I guarantee you were someone's type before you lost weight, and now you aren't because you lost weight. That number is smaller due to society's beauty standards, so it's less noticeable, which would explain all the attention. It's easy to be cynical about it all, but at the end of the day, would you have wanted a partner who was with you for your personality, but wasn't physically attracted to you? I wouldn't. I would feel awful and wish they found me attractive, as that plays a huge factor in intimacy. So my advice, let go of your anger and stop seeing the bad in people. You may be putting your weight loss on a pedestal here. If I compared my 18-year-old self and my 20-year-old self, and if I didn't lose any weight during that period, people treated me very differently between those ages. 18, just out of high school, I was young and figuring out my life. By 20, I'd begun in earnest on my adult life. I had life happenings and adult life trappings that opened social doors. Were people shallow because I was still a little more than a kid at 18 and responsible man at 20? The confidence in myself didn't really change during this period, but occasions that showed my confidence went up dramatically. I see a lot of distressing comments on this thread that are well-intentioned but border on gaslighting. People aren't suddenly treating the original poster better because he's happier, more confident, or more positive. They're not responding to him differently because he took control over his life, or he suddenly cares about himself enough to take care of his health. It's toxic and untrue to assume that fat people don't care about or aren't managing their health unless they're trying to lose weight. Sure, those factors may play a small role in why people are now treating OP better, but really, people are treating OP better for a simple reason: because he lost a lot of weight. Stop pretending skinny privilege isn't real. Stop pretending pretty privilege isn't real. We live in a society that says skinny is attractive and fat is unattractive. To be fair, I agree. So yeah, when people lose weight, they're going to be treated better because they're going to be perceived as being more attractive. Confidence and personality is part of that. But I've seen plenty of funny, confident, charming fat people have to work 10 times as hard as their skinny or attractive friends to get the same amount of attention. OP, it's not in your head. Yes, people are treating you better. Yes, they're doing it because you're skinnier and they think you look better. Yes, this is shallow, but unfortunately, this is how humans are. And now you know something about human nature, and you know it in a very visceral, personal way. You're entitled to feel however you want about that. Positive, negative, a bit of both. You can't change an entire culture. You can't even change anyone else. But you can let this knowledge guide how you treat others. You can make an effort to treat all people kindly and fairly, regardless of their weight or attractiveness. You can think about your unconscious biases. We all have them, and the ways in which you might be ignoring people or writing them off. You can let this knowledge make you a better person. I can only give input on my experience. When I was 20, I was incredibly shallow about who I dated. Hell, I was 20. I wasn't looking for anything serious. I also was about the exact weight I am now, but I was super confident. Easily, I was a 6 or 7, but I consistently bagged 8 or 9s purely due to the way I carried myself, but it was shallow and meaningless for both parties involved. As I got older, my taste changed, and I started looking for something other than looks and a man. I used to date tall, tattooed, bearded, and emotionally unavailable. My husband is the complete opposite of every guy I've ever dated. He is short, beardless, kind of nerdy, and very loving. He's also better looking than me, but it doesn't matter. I don't know what you looked like before, but I'm sure you were a great guy then. Yes, you're going to get more attention because you lost weight, just the way it is. But I wouldn't blame the shallowness and emptiness on your weight loss. I'd chalk it up more to just being 20, and people aren't usually looking for deep at that age. And that brings us to the end of the video, narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, please consider tapping subscribe below the video. Our entire channel is dedicated to helping those on a weight loss journey. Every single video is uploaded to give you kind of hope and motivation to keep going on your journey, and you'll join our awesome positive community, the narwhals. So please tap subscribe below. I would really appreciate it. And lastly, here's our featured narwhal of the day. I started out at 340 pounds. I hit my target weight of 180 on this day a year ago. Then, everything changed when COVID attacked. I was convinced that with stay-at-home orders and lack of gyms, the pandemic would undo all my progress. Today, at 175 pounds, I can say it did not succeed, but I did.